All right, so you have played probably one of the most evil characters ever on television. Do you think that there's something redeemable about Stefano?
Yeah, his money.
Sure. But what keeps you interested in the character after all these years?
Well, I've as the actor, I've tried to do a whole different take on him. I don't walk in and consider myself a bad guy. I consider myself a big, pretty successful businessman. And that he owns half the world is beside the point. I find Stefano, the interesting thing is his family. He is very honorable with his family. I mean, that's the most important thing for him, to carry on the name DiMera, And but he has the power that if somebody gets in his way and he doesn't like the way they are in his way, he pushes them aside.
So is that something that you're kind of living vicariously through him?
Oh, it is strictly vicarious, my God. To have that kind of power and whatever you want, whenever you want,
right.
It's make-believe.
But do you find that because you're so recognizable as the character that people react to you differently when they meet you at these events or when they see you on the street?
The thing that has been, I guess it's really kind of satisfying in a way, that no matter where I am, if I'm in an airport or whatever, East Coast, West Coast, Middle Coast, whatever, people love this character, and I think it's like a fairy tale, In other words, this guy does things and gets away with things that you and I would never get away with, and that's what people get a kick out of. Because they always, no matter when I see them, they always say the same thing to me: keep doing it,
right.
Keep doing whatever you're doing. That's all they want to know. So I figure whatever I'm doing well, and I try very hard to show more than one side, because if you're playing a so-called evil guy and you're evil all the time, who cares? Drop dead already, go die and get it over with. But I try to show the man's vulnerability also, and so people get interested to see both sides of the human being.
Right.
I hope.
And now you were on the show for years, you left for a little while, you've come back. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think you'd be on a show that's on air for 45 years?
No. First of all, I mean, the show deserves all kinds of honors to be on television.
Yeah.
For 45 years is almost unbelievable. I started the show, when I started, I wanted to do it for 6 weeks, because I didn't think so. Here it is, 20-odd years later.
Right.
I'm still there. I've been probably a little more fortunate than some people, because when I felt it got too stupid, I left and did other things, and I come from the theater, so I love the theater. And Burt Reynolds had a theater down in Florida, and so every year I'd go down and do a play, and so I could do other work, but.
Right.
But the audience, God bless them, they always kept bugging NBC like we wanted Stefano back, so I would come back. And right now the show, I think, is doing very well.
Oh, definitely. Especially with, the fans that have come out to see you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And what have been some of your favorite storylines to play?
I'm always asked that, and I never...
It's a hard
I've been there have been so many.
Yeah, and 20,
I mean, how do I pick one? So I said the other day, and I mean it, I can say it now. I had some scenes that were very well written with Lauren, who plays Catherine. They were terrific. So for me, that was it. The last scenes that I had were great.
Okay.
And so that's enough for me.
Is there anything Stefano hasn't done yet that you want to see him do?
I can't.
Because he's pretty. I feel like he's
done about almost
across
everything.
The board, yeah.
He has not ever gotten a disguise as a priest or anything like that. But that's about it.
Okay.
He's done everything else.
And are there any cast members that you've worked with that you would love to see come back on the show?
Yeah, I would love to see Celeste come back. She's not only a good actress, but she's a lovely person. I'd love to see Teo come back. We're good friends anyway. I'd love to see John come back, because I adore him, and I would love to see him back.
Yeah, I think you guys had the really great
we
back
did.
and forth.
We really did, and because of it, it carried off in the civilian life because
Right.
we really like each other.
Right. And going forward for Stefano, we ever going to see him settle down a little bit? Do you think? I mean, he's
not.
all about his family, but he doesn't ever seem to have that one woman. He's been with a lot of women.
Well, that's a different story. Okay, now that's interesting because it's now happening with Catherine.
A little bit, yeah.
And they are doing what I consider one of the smartest things they could do. I suggested it in the beginning. First of all, Catherine is somebody that Stefano really brought into life. I mean, he's the one that set her up. Now she's supposedly a villainess in her own way, and Stefano is the villain. Okay, now they thought about putting them together. I thought, wonderful. They're really good together. And also the idea, what happened was that everybody realized that she was like poisoning people or something.
Right,
I don't know what she's doing. And Stefano does his thing, right? So I think the audience assumed when these two would get together, all they would do is fight and try to kill each other. And I said, no, go the other way. I mean, find the humanity. And so they've tried it, and it is working, I think, beautifully, and the audience seems to love it. You have these two people who are so tough, and they're starting to fall in love with each other. And, in other words, it's beyond them, something else takes over, and it makes it very human.